Hello, Game David. It is still this bug active. Good to know. Hello, Selton. Fair enough. So we were on here last time. Yeah. Hello, Exotic. Hello, Twin Opinion. What are you typing what in all caps for?
Prime subs suck.
Thank you for the Prime sub. Game David. Why are you typing what all over again?
Twitch ads are so offensively linked, holy shit.
True. I kind of don't like the saturation on this, and it has the blue outline again. So let me fix that. Hello, tea time. What for lunch? Are we being raided? What is going on? That should work better. I love her streams case. Nice. This case have Curvisa sickness. What is Curvisa? The only sickness I have right now is something with my triceps on the right side. When I move it in a certain way, it hurts. I am always locked in. How many lambs did you sacrifice to do that? Not many. You like the tree, Delphux? I actually didn't do anything off stream. This is how far we got last stream. Zena just sent me a new texture. That's really good. Nice. I was recently working on the Lofty Lamba Leaps level, the big trees that you platform on. That one's gonna be ready for the beta test soon. You made the raccoons for that, right? Yeah, this looks pretty nice. I like it. Oh, you're making new huts? Very nice. Hello, Graham. Welcome back to the stream. Oh, this bridge is kind of ugly here. I guess it doesn't probably properly touch this. There we go. That's okay, Zena. One thing I would like to notice is that big trees just cut out at the bottom. Can you make them fade out into the clouds? Do they not? When the genies got 1-bit alpha, everything is 1-bit alpha, unless it's grayscale. Or really low res. The trees are probably very expensive on N64, but I don't think it's so bad that we have a problem here. Is this one guy with 6 accounts typing dumb shit? What is going on? With a reeling of arcing path on a slide, holding golden item thingy. You think we have a place in the game? It could have a place in the game. The level designs are not locked, but I don't know where that would possibly have a place. I made a small game project in my office. Is that it? Is art style? Okay. To be honest, I'm not a fan of the NES art style at all. I feel like more often than not, people make games in that art style because it's cheap to do, not because they think it looks good. And that kind of led to it being so overdone. Remember the Yoshi Island core? Yes. Well, what do you mean by the Yoshi Island core? Actually, I should ask that first. Hello, Samuel. GBA art style? Huh. Okay, the question is, do we need any more Yoshi architecture here? Actually, we need an OST to listen to. Any wishes? Is this supposed to be Yoshi themed? If it is, well, the Yoshis live here, and the Yoshis have built the architecture. So, in that sense, it's like a village the Yoshis built, and not really like it. They wouldn't build Yoshi themed bridges, right? They would build primitive stuff. Is it the Ant Flag AV in the retro section that gives you too many coins? That's a known bug and it's already fixed in this game here. Scribble notes. Alright. Yeah, but would the Yoshis build that is the question. I mean, let's look at the Yoshi village. Maybe we'll see something interesting here. Ooh, that's actually kind of cool. Should feel a lot more lively. Yeah. Well, that's when we have the trees for, but maybe that's not enough trees. Looks like fruit. Yeah, we're gonna have these fruit baskets here. We have a couple of them. Maybe that's not enough. We have 3 fruit baskets. I was gonna fill them with fruits, like an apple texture or something on it. Of course, we have to put the Yoshis themselves too. Oh, what about a well? Would they have a well like this? Actually amazing how dead this looks compared to this. Yeah. Dang, that's sad.
I love decorations.
Thank you for the sub. Welcome to the stream. It's tree trunk well. That honestly sounds like a great idea. Flowers is a good idea. Let's get some patches of flowers in here. We need the FAST64 renderer or this is unworkable. No, we don't see the alpha anymore, but at least the blender is more than 2 frames a second. Having them be strung along manually would make it feel more lived rather than just the flowers separately grow here. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that is a bad idea. So what if the pagoda had a flower garden next to it here? Let's try that. If there is a mod here, can you guys just ban all these weird people? It's kind of annoying me. Hello, Mel. Can't ban them from here. No mods, them. Maybe they'll just get bored for themselves then. We don't need this vertex anymore. There we go. Okay. That maybe repeats too much here. So, were you thinking something like this, Delphox? And I don't like the corner here. What's the polygon budget of the whole place? Honestly, I don't have a tight budget like that. We just kinda go for it, and then if something doesn't work out, we cut it back. What's going on? I'm more confused than when Case had that stream with the cum shake. Yes, excellent game. Let me actually go to YouTube. Let me just take care of this. How do I find my own live stream on YouTube? Oh, that's right here. And then here's the chat. Wait, it only works for 24 hours? How do you ban someone on YouTube chat? Like that? Is that like a permaban? I just hope it is. Maybe that worked, I don't know. With the mainland in the distance, maybe Peach Castle is visible? Nah, I wasn't thinking so. Yes, definitely, that's a cool idea. I like this. Let's make a little path decal here. Well, the path decal probably has to start here. I'm not sure yet that guy belongs to them. I wouldn't want to accidentally ban someone who's like a genuine chat user. Yeah, I'm not trying to save any performance right now, we're just kind of making the level, and we can do optimization later. I was working on trying to get Soren's occlusion planes working earlier. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to yet. But once those work, we will be able to do a lot more cool stuff. Had a corpse in secret basement of the Yoshi hut, and hide clues about its complex history throughout the game. I don't think we want corpses in this game. I think I'm good on that idea. Alright, we can't actually do this in FAST64 renderer. Oh, hello Soren! Did you see my message? I got all the math for occlusion planes working, and I have verified the view projection matrix works like this, but the entire rest here is not quite there yet, for some reason. Something about it is just not working out yet. Nice, nice. Maybe we can get it working live with you here, and then live test the performance benefit. That would be peak. Do you guys think this is how the original people working on Mario 64 also worked with the people that made the microcode? They just asked our questions and then they answered. That is such a big advantage over just having to figure it out myself. Shit. I'm missing this triangle. I had to fill out 5,000 Jira tickets. I would hope not. That sounds awful. Trying to make a pink and blue bomber body on the same hack. We'll make both. What's the issue? You don't need to copy the behavior actually, you can use the same behavior on both. The easiest way to do it in RAW Manager is to duplicate the geo layout and change the texture, the first comment, or the second comment, I'm not sure which comment it is, the billboard comment basically. Okay, there we go. There we go. What do you do after RTYI? I am not sure. Sorry, I missed you. Yes, we're moving on to CPU. Do you really want to move it from the CPU to the RSP? Oh, that's... Yes, I have asked that, because that would be a great change to have in. Just because right now, if I look at my graph render code, this was 0x2c before. So, like, almost a quarter of the entire code base in the render code right now is just getting the matrix, the occlusion plane. So having that on the RSP would be much preferred. But if that's not possible, that's fine too. It wouldn't be a big deal to have to compute this on the CPU because it's an opt-in feature, right? So I could still use it whenever it's beneficial. The bigger problem for me right now is that the occlusion planes don't seem to work at all. So getting them to work is kind of my step one here. So I am assuming I did something wrong with the occlusion planes for them to not show up in game. My opinion on proper hydration seems like an important thing. Oh. This doesn't render right now. Sunny's and the RSP is key for performance. Why would you ever want to move processing from CPU to RSP? How long is streaming today? Probably around 2.5 hours. Okay, why would you ever want to move processing from the CPU to RSP? Because I mentioned it's less code. Right now we have to, it's all about memory transfer, right? So I'm not worried about RSP performance at all right now. In fact, even with your 3% improvement on the RSP, we didn't gain any frame time basically. So that means those 3% we can literally use for whatever we want, and likely more on top. So if we had to sacrifice 500 microseconds on the RSP to reduce data throughput from all the extra code I need on the CPU to compute the occlusion plane factors, then that's great. Sorry, someone messaged me here. Exotic, please unban me from the stream. I wasn't part of any raid. I don't know how to do that, I'm sorry. Guys, how do you unban someone from a YouTube stream? I genuinely do not know how to do that. It's a bit of an issue. I'm not about something about would say that's true. How do I unban someone from my live stream? Go to the channel name, under channel info there is a flag, click on it to unblock them. What the fuck? That's such... A moment, I find the button. He is unbanned, I think. Honestly, I do hope that YouTube wins against Twitch to stream wars. I really don't like Twitch. But unfortunately, YouTube's kind of shitty. It's honestly kind of crazy how a lot of really big software is also really shitty. You'd think that they'd make good software, but nope. Yeah, they were very annoying. Hello, N64 Gamer 124. Don't tell me it isn't rendering again. No. You'd think the multi-billion would hire the best programmers and staff to make the best software from. Well, they at least need to. This is a crazy thing, but so many times I think, why don't they just make reasonable decisions? Like a lot of the time, they have all the infrastructure they need, but they just do not make reasonable decisions. How hard can it be to make reasonable decisions? It doesn't even need to be perfect. It doesn't need any genius algorithms. It just needs to not be complete dog shit. I'm thinking there have to be like 1 million people working at the company and none of them care about what they're making. That's like the only reason they would all not make reasonable decisions. Or maybe a lot of them just have like a specific idea in mind and then everyone has to follow suit and it's just like some ego thing or something. Which legacy do you think is in something or Photoshop? What is legacy code? How do you separate that from just code? An Unreal developer is a full-time job, but as someone who also develops Unreal professionally, there are some whack problems that are very frustrating. I hate the Unreal editor. Dude, I tried to rotate an object by 72 degrees around the pivot in Unreal editor. You have no idea how much of a pain that is. Let me show you how to do that in Blender. I go here, here, I select my object, I set the pivot point here, and now I can rotate around that. And I put 72. We're done. In Unreal, it's basically impossible. I had to go into the editor settings and define angle rotation increments and set them to like 72. And then I had to rotate by just like guessing the angle and guessing where it snaps to 72. And then I had to go into the settings again and unset my custom angle rotation increments. It's so dumb. Hello, Kaki Dev. Why am I allowing some noob-ass developer like Kaki Dev into my stream? Who let Kaki Dev in here? That's what I'm asking. You're not noob-ass, you're pro-ass? I apologize. She hates all game devs. Oh, okay. I guess you hate me then. Garage developers. Dude, leave Nintendo go unchecked for 2 years and they're gonna call modders terrorists. Okay, the path adds a lot to this. The path makes this so much better. Right off the bat. Nintendo will not deport me to Germany, they will deport me to Alcatraz. That's the prison, right? Or is that from Harry Potter? Okay, so I want the path here too. Azkaban, okay. Must get the Pakistani government to hide you while you finish RTYI. Yeah, I'm a fan of the new camera noise. It's a lot more pleasant than the previous one, I find. Nintendo has a more effective dungeon? Dang. I guess that's where we're going. Actually, this is fine for now. Alcatraz is no longer in operation. That's what they want you to think. Where do you think they took Gary Bowser? Scribble Notes? It is. We're listening to the Scribble Notes OST right now. Scribble Notes sounds like such a banger game concept. I'm kind of sad I never got into it. I had the game as a kid, but it just didn't click with me. You know what game I'm not sad for not getting into as a kid? Grand Theft Auto. I'm finally done with it. I'm never playing a Rockstar game again. All their games is just chore simulator. Hello, Alec DVZ. Oh, chore simulator. Yeah, it's kind of sad that the story is locked behind absolute garbage gameplay, because I like the story of San Andreas. Drive your pickup guy, drop him off there, shoot some guys. Yeah, and then if you fail, it's like more driving. The whole thing is just chores. I think the story's worth it, you'll do almost any chore for it. That's fair. There's no way there's a $200 cancellation fee. That cannot be legal. I refuse to believe that. I have no idea how people are excited for Grand Theft Auto 6. And that just does not seem reasonable. Surely people like Grand Theft Auto for the online role-playing, right? That is the appeal. For like normal internet people, that's what I'm saying. Like, for normal people, the appeal, I bet, is to just fuck around. But for like all the internet people that are excited about it, it has to be the role-playing. You admit it's the roleplay? I fucking knew it. You play games specifically for the choice? I love when games like XM present their hardest settings try and spit me out. Okay, but choice is not when something is hard. Choice is when something is repetitive and stupid. Even if the game is bad, it still lets you be a part of a big thing in gaming culture. I think that is the real reason people play most AAA games nowadays. They want to be part of the cultural experience. RPGs like KCD? I don't know what that is. Not many signatures can you one thing though. I save all the time in Blender for that reason. If it crashes, then I never lose anything. Last stream, did you manage to model the tree you wanted? Yeah, I can show you the tree in a second. Let me just export the level, take a look at this, see if it feels more lived in now. And then we're gonna look at more Yoshi Village concept art. I don't want to turn this into a complete weeaboo region end here. Gaming Culture picked that Silk song. That was like 2 weeks ago. I fucked up placing the grass here, so now it's just butterflies. Cool. The Yoshi houses won't seriously transform this though. We're gonna fill these baskets with apples. Maybe the baskets should be twice the size. I think they need to be. Quasi tribal, not sure what that means. This looks nicer being a bit yellow, the others are kind of man comparison. I see what you mean. I think I literally just fucked up putting the vertex colors on it and that's it. But I meant to do something like this.
Finally figured it out. The key secret. The secret of Ricky is, okay, get ready. The secret of Ricky, that Kaze has been hiding this whole time. Hold on to your seats. Hold on. Don't
I'm
get
holding
scared.
on.
It's coming. Listen, the secret. The secret.
Oh no, he didn't tell us the secret. That's kinda nice. This makes the paths look so friendly. I finished my next video recently, by the way, or rather my editor did, and the editor did such a good job, it's crazy. No way, this guy just used me getting him banned as an excuse to ask me about how to optimize for modern hardware. No way, bro. He did it in the Yoshi temple level. Quasi-tribal. Oh, I see.
Isn't a good video that is enjoyable and talks about deep programming concepts like Mario 64's math.
Yes, it is. If that's what you're looking for, you will enjoy this. Okay, now a well. Let's put a well here somewhere. Do we make a well inside a tree trunk though? Or is that stupid? If we make a well inside a tree trunk, will this even be recognizable as a well? Designing a RISC-V CPU. Do you have any good meme instruction I should add? I don't know any meme instructions. But immediate 16 is already implemented. I want nothing to do with your CPU. Any circular shaped thing made of bricks would read as well. Yeah, that's my worry, that a tree trunk is not gonna read as well. Besides, why would there be a well here if we are right next to water? Honestly, that's not at a well. There are a bunch of cute buildings. We'll need Zaynat's Yoshi house to really have an idea of how it's gonna feel. Texture, thank you. As long as you have the top of the well structure and the bucket and a rope included. Yeah, probably. The beta Yoshi village. How are you feeling today? Why do you need to know? It's a little personal. This is kinda ugly. Why is the tree green? Did no one question this back when Nintendo made the game? Well, we have a small fence here.
If you like lizards, wave your hands in the air. If lizards are great, wave your hands in the air. If lizards are amazing, go crazy and scream, let everyone know.
Let's look at more Yoshi Village. This is my game. God, this is old. Oh my god, this looks so ugly now. The fucking 2D tree. We could also get started on the seal here that you save. So we have more time to consider these. They made a Yoshi Village and Mario Eclipse. Let's see what they made here. I don't see anything Yoshi in here yet. How's this Yoshi village rather than village? Oh, I guess this is the Yoshi house, and that's a Yoshi. Okay. Is this a normal thing that the Yoshis have? The fireplace? Do they always have that? I feel like I've seen that before as well. Oh, I see. Honestly, the Yoshis need a fireplace. It's gonna be winter on the island at some point. This is gonna be where one of the super happy tree seedlings grows, so we can't use this area. The Yoshis are cold-blooded, for sure. I feel like they would have a fireplace over here. They're definitely evil Yoshis who love arson. Boshi exists. Yeah, what if this was like the campfire place, where the Yoshis gathered together and told each other stories? Let's make it that. Doesn't even know what a Batman is. So, do you? Yoshi fireplace. What the fuck? Let's see if we can copy the fireplace from course 2. Are you so much sheltered from the wind? We can still work on that. That image genuinely was awful. I will agree with you. No way, Twitch just offered me $26 to play Marvel Strike Force. That game's so bad they pay you to play it? Holy shit. When you used to show chat on stream, I use restream.io. It's gonna load the shaders in any second now. Trust. Whole dollar for your firstborn child? No one's gonna mind if we reuse this, right? I honestly never had a Big Mac. I've had 0 Big Macs in my entire life. I use Gliden 64, the one made by Acrop though, so Link's Gliden. Okay, so we need to contain the fire somehow, maybe by putting little rocks here. Honestly, I don't like this area here. This area here looks very bad right now. I have also not tried to make chicken. The only thing I've ever had from McDonald's was chicken nuggets and milkshake. Why is there not just like a fireplace made out of rocks? It's all like this. I mean, I guess we can do that. We can just, yeah, let's just build around it. Fuck it. But nuggets and milkshake, of course. You cannot fuck up nuggets and milkshake. Let's be real. Yeah, I'm basically not even living life because I haven't had a McDonald's Big Mac. Yes, it is. The Overworld is the last really big part of the game that we have to do. The plan for boss are free? Yes. It's a free-faced boss fight with bosses and a cloud car. Kidding, I'm kidding. Just a little callback to a funny YouTube moment. How much do you think that guy would lose his shit if we actually put that in the game? He would be the happiest 9-year-old on the planet. Don't reinforce that kind of behavior. But he's a legend at this point, have you considered that? I kind of like this texture. This looks like it's some kind of fucked up construction that we just kind of threw together. Hello, Bioback. Kiss. Bye. Don't tell me the ice cap's done. Now that I have XP, can you try importing the ice mob? Oh, I see. Yeah, we can try that at some point. I can look into it. I like the campfire too. I think what it's missing is some logs for the Yoshis to sit on. People do overuse Quicksand in MR64 hacks, and it is pretty tragic, because it ruins many hacks that could otherwise be decent. Oh, I see. That's the guy who made a desk out of lava. The desk out of lava was cool as hell. If you disagree, you're a hater. Completely different situation. Yes. But like, when you just hear desk made out of lava, that sounds like an awful thing, but it's actually cool, trust. Think the engine will be able to be ported to other platforms easily? No. This will be one of the hardest engines to port to a different platform. Genuinely, the more assumptions you make in your code, the better your code runs. But also, the more assumptions about the hardware you make in your code, the harder it's going to be to port. And because we make every assumption possible about the hardware for the best performance, that means the engine is very difficult to port. Oof, I did not expect this to look so awful. I can already feel Biobag looking at this and being like, why is there 7 different wood textures? Let's just reduce this to 2, it's gonna look better. And it probably will. No, leave the 7 wood textures. I'm gonna leave them. I cannot reduce them as easily as you can. I don't have that power to just visualize the changes. I have given up on like becoming goated at 3D art. It's not gonna happen in my lifetime. Dude, actually, what if they find a way to cure age? Then, dude, oh my god, if they find a way to cure age, my life is going to be so much better. I want to live for like 1,000 years and master every skill. If they find a way to cure age, it's gonna be like the people that own shit are just going to run the world. And then like I can do whatever I want. I just need to collect like $5 million before it's too late. DJ, honestly, you can't be good at everything. Yes, a problem. But yeah, I have to accept that I have to defer some skills to other people. Your art is great, bro. No. Don't worry, we don't need to cope here. Like, I know it's mid what I do. If you think my art is great, then you're comparing it to bad art. And I don't want to be compared to bad art either. Why is the lock upside down? I don't know what you mean. They already did human cells, even though they think of cells rolls over time, so they mutate when it comes to aging. Going to react as well. Yes, I kind of know that part. I also know the telomeres shorten over time and mutations pile up over time. So there's like 3 different mechanics for aging, right? But like, I'm not immortal yet, so... What the fuck was that? Why did GIMP open like that? Anyway. We have a victory of cross crash. What? Add coin to array crashes. When we start the game crashes because there's a coin formation that... What is going on here? That is spawning over no land. That must mean the collision's broken. It's Buyback the G who makes all the things look nice. Buyback goes over my models after I'm done and makes them look a lot better. Who is reference though? Reference to other N61 games? Sometimes. Well, I know that I'm improving, don't worry. I'm not depressed about it or anything. I'm just being realistic. Okay. Idea. We are going to... What do I have open here? Downloads? I don't need that. We're going to... find this coin formation that is crashing. Has to be in area 1. You can send a message as a whole, I'm being followed by the police. Fair enough. Hate when that happens. One tip to getting better is to look at a shit of references. I've had a good missions of sea shots open for 3 days. Sometimes when I open one of your models, I wonder if you've been outside before. Dude, that's fucked up. Cause I sometimes wonder if I've been outside before too. I remember we were sitting in the car and I saw a lake in ahead and I was like, the perspective on this lake is so fucked up. Why does it look like my camera pitch is tilted by 10 degrees? And it's like, that's literally just the lake in real life. Obviously my camera pitch is not tilted. Whoa! What happened here? I seriously fucked something up. These are nice benches though. This is a cozy fireplace. I now like it. Why is this all one area? That would certainly cause the issue that we're seeing. When I see misaligned floor tiles, I imagine myself moving the vertices to cope. Round stones are very difficult to model on the N64. Case, remember the bamboo unless you no longer think it fits. Bamboo, right. Remember the bamboo. We can do some bamboo. Your first LBLJ? Oh, nice. Oops. Wouldn't the lock cut in half have the insides of the wood showing up on the top instead of the outside bark texture? Yes, I tried to make this look like the inside of a log, but I didn't have the inside of a log texture, so this is what I went with. I mean, this kinda looks like the inside of a wood, no? I don't think it's that bad. You can clearly see the bark on the outside. Gonna have a lot of work. Biobank has a lot of work in general, but that's fine. I'm actually thinking while Biobank is going to be busy reworking levels, but she is going to be busy with that longer than we are going to be busy making the levels. That is by definition just what it is. While he does that, we are going to work on replacing Mario with a custom character. So we can release both a version with Mario and a version without Mario. So that when Nintendo on like week 1 is on our door and it's like, take this down, we can be like, fine, but there's another. Fuck you. Alright, why does bamboo grow? Does bamboo grow in water? Bamboo grows in the ground. Does bamboo not grow in water ever? Do we even want bamboo here? Actually, we need bamboo on Yoshi's Island, because when you look at the Yoshi's Island enemies, they walk on bamboo stilts. So bamboo is actually kind of important on Yoshi's Island. Don't you afraid of Nintendo? I welcome them with open arms. If they take me down, then I can rebrand this into my own game and sell it and become rich. If they don't, then I have to release it on the Mario 64 mod. Before we do that, there's one more thing I want to do. So yes, we have to add a bamboo supply here for sure. There's something else I care about a lot here, and that is this edge here needs a decal. You want me to get on a voice call and talk about the occlusion plates? Yes! Let's do it. Let's talk about occlusion plates. See if we can figure it out. Create out of Mario's game? Not revealed yet. but it's already all planned. If it gets that far. All right. Hello. Oh, 1 second. You are outputting on my wrong audio device. Can you try saying something?
Hello.
Ah, perfect. I hear you now. All right. Yeah, so you saw what I did for occlusion planes?
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think you sent me code that you had added, but yeah, let me just like start by giving you some background. So there's sort of 3 steps to this occlusion plane. There's the checking whether each vertex is behind the occlusion plane or not, which is what's currently being done on the RSP. This is like part of the vertex processing loop, and this is why the like F3DEX3 NOC version is faster than the version that doesn't say NOC, because it's just the instructions for checking that are skipped during the vertex processing, and so you save a bunch of time on vertex processing if you don't have to do that. I think you mentioned that you're already using the version that has the occlusion planes already.
Correct. I wasn't even thinking about it, but yes, I was using that version.
When did you swap over to that? Because when you were very like originally first trying to use F3DEX3 and there was all these performance issues and I was trying to like get it to be viable for you, it was like I was relying on it being an OC in order to get you anywhere close to your targets.
Right, I swapped when you released the 1.0 version and unified the vertex pipelines.
Okay. I'm surprised that that didn't cause a substantial regression, because if you want to try right now, if you want to try the NOC version, you're gonna save like another 500 microseconds or whatever. I don't know exactly what the number is. We can compute it, but yeah. So anyway, so if you're already on that, then it's just pure free performance. If the occlusion plane actually does occlude things, you save the time for processing those triangles on the RSP, and you also save the actual drawing time, which is the important time that we care about.
Well, it's not entirely free because we have to spend so much time in the CPU computing the plane.
Yeah, so let's get to that, right? So the second thing is converting, once you know what occlusion plane you want to draw, to use, converting the coordinates of that from like world space to the occlusion plane factors. And there's both the like the basic world space to camera space, perspective transform part. And then there is the clipping part. You saw that there's like a thing that says reimplementation of clipping code. The reason for this is that the way the occlusion plane works, there's these 12 shorts, the 12 shorts that you're sending to the microcode as like the occlusion plane. What that is it is 4 screen space lines that it's checking is the vertex on one side or the other of the line. And so each of those is a it's a like a scale and an offset, or like it's a y equals mx plus b, right? It's an m and b for each of those 4 lines. And so that's 8 of those factors. And the last 4 factors are I think it's in clip space, a plane that is setting the depth of it. Yeah, I'm looking at your stream. I have your stream muted, but the stream is like a few seconds behind. Yeah, so the Oc, C, the Q, and Q+4 are the scale and offset. Right. And then the last 4 are a plane that is saying like what is in front of it versus behind it. Right. And so that is the fastest. That's the way I was able to come up. That's the fastest in terms of actually processing the vertices. So the reason that you need that whole clipping process is, let's say you have the occlusion plane and the occlusion plane is like half off screen, right? The occlusion plane itself is being clipped by the screen. So let's say one of the edges of the occlusion plane is like halfway,
Yeah.
is like across the screen, and the other three edges are off screen, right? You would want it to say, hey, give me that that edge of the occlusion plane on screen, and then just don't use the other three, because anything like off screen in that direction is also going to get occluded. And so that's actually why it has to do this whole clipping process. It also has to sort of rotate it around and figure out which one is the, because these 4 lines I mentioned, there's 4 lines. One of them has to be like kind of, excuse me, I'm a little sick. That's why I'm voice is
no
a little
problem.
off. One of them has to be kind of below, like it's a line, and it's cutting off anything that's below it, and it can be angled, but it can't be like turned 180 degrees, so it's actually cutting off things that are above it. And so we actually have to like, one of them is above, one of them is roughly below, one of them is roughly to the left, one of them is roughly to the right, one of them is roughly above, and so it has to like sort of rotate everything around to that. So that's sort of the summary of the second step here, is converting a single occlusion plane to the actual coefficients. That whole second step could theoretically be done on the RSP. That's not something I thought of until you mentioned it, but it's not necessarily easy. I'm not sure how the performance would be. Probably I'd have to load another overlay to like figure out, but you only run that once at startup, so maybe it doesn't matter. But yeah, that theoretically could be moved to the RSP, but I'm not convinced that that's a good idea. And
Right.
then
I think
there's
the
the
only
first.
measurements we need to really respect for performance is memory traffic. Everything else for now we can completely discard. So if it would require more code on the RSP and the code on the RSP is bigger than the code on the CPU, then I think it's a bad idea. If it's smaller, then I think it's a good idea.
It's more. So this is like, I'm not promising. This is more of a developer effort thing at first. I'm not going to promise that I will do this, but let's say we did this. Let's say it's loading another overlay. This is like a few kilobytes of code, maybe like less than 2 kilobytes of code on the that you would load once on the RSP, and then you would load back another similar amount of other code. So it's like that versus the code in the CPU instruction cache, which all of this code would be resident in cache. This doesn't have to like come in multiple times. It would only be once, but yeah, it would probably be smaller on the RSP.
Right, but if it's a load and
yeah,
an unload, then that's more expensive.
Well, it's load and unload, but it's do that once. But I guess it's do that once on the CPU also.
Right.
I guess the other thing to think of is you're the only person who has this set of performance constraints. So the idea of like, oh, we want to, blow up the microcode size to add some feature that you only use once per frame in order to get rid of some CPU code, because that specific code path might be faster on the RSP. That's not really something that anybody else wants to do. So I have to think about that. But anyway, that's the second part. The first part is picking which occlusion plane to use.
Right. Okay, wait.
So
that one, we don't even need to go there yet. I see the code you wrote, and like that's all fine. We have a problem before that, and that is I have this test occlusion plane here. Like, let's just pretend this is the best one. And even that already doesn't work for me.
Right. Well, let's get to the debugging in a minute, but I want to finish sort of this, like giving you the perspective of how this is working. So the first step is figuring out which occlusion plane to use. And the current code has a bunch of heuristics, which I tuned on a scene in OOT. And those heuristics are based on like computing the actual screen space coordinates for every possible occlusion plane, every one in your list of candidates, and like doing some metrics for screen space coverage and stuff like that for each of those occlusion planes. So when we're saying, oh, I could move the second part onto the RSP, well, then you'd have to come up with some way to do the selection of which occlusion plane to do also on the RSP, because you wouldn't, if you didn't have that information on the CPU, then you couldn't use that information to help select which one on the CPU. Now, you could make your game so that you had regions in space where you had pre-computed, if the camera is here, use this occlusion plane, else if the camera is here, use this one, and then you wouldn't need to do any of that. And then you could do coefficients on the RSP. But yeah, that was how I did it for OIT. I didn't want to force anyone wanting to use this to have to partition their scene and figure out in advance which occlusion plane to use. I wanted to do that semi-automatically. So that is how it's implemented.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That doing this on the CPU is the better choice then. And I'm completely fine with it.
Okay, yeah, and it's, again, yes, you have to load all of the code once, but the actual data that this is using should be able to stay in Dcache and not actually go to RAM, because it's just like data on the stack in one of these functions is all of the occlusion plane like coefficients. And so that should just stay in Dcache. And then as far as the time on the CPU, well, you don't really care about the time other than the memory traffic. So anyway,
yeah.
So let's try to debug it. So what we can start with is you can ignore, you can just comment out all of the stuff about selecting the occlusion plane or whatever, and just add in your render function before you run this. We can like manually write an occlusion planes struct that is, going to call, a big square in the middle of the camera. And we can just like manually send that and see if that's working. So let me pull up the code on my side and see if I can remember it sufficiently to give you the right numbers to put in. But in the meantime, can you just like comment out this whole file and just add in before you draw anything, just add in, a GSP occlusion plane with a struct, and I'll give you the numbers that you put in the struct.
Sure. I'm ready.
Okay, so let's try, let's start with, let me paste you some numbers here. So you'll make them 0, 0, 0, 0, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000, 8,000,
Okay,
0, 0, 0, 7 FFF.
Okay.
And this should occlude everything.
All right.
And so if you get nothing drawn, then it's this, and then we can tweak this more afterwards.
It's 12 numbers in total, you said?
This is what?
12 numbers in total, right?
Yeah, it's 12 numbers.
Okay.
12 S16s, yeah.
Looks right.
Your stream is like 2 seconds behind, so not sure yet.
No, I think it's more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, I guess it's more than 2 seconds. I guess it's like 10 seconds.
Yeah, on YouTube it's sometimes even like 2 minutes, so I'm not sure.
Okay, now you've just written the 7FFF on my side. So yeah, and then send that to, yeah, that should be, sure. And if that doesn't make any change, oh, and you're using Nemu. This is not going to work in an emulator except for unless you're using like Aries or Parallel or something.
It's
that has
Parallel.
Oh, it's Parallel. Okay, well then.
But it didn't work in Nemu.
Yeah.
Let me try Unreal Engine 64 just to be sure.
Yeah. So if this isn't working, then
yeah,
you
it's
have
not
some.
Working.
Yeah. So you have some problem with the like either you're not calling this function or you're not using the NOC. You're using the NOC version or something. But yeah, that's that should be including everything.
Just to prove I'm calling this
so
function.
not including anything. So either you're not calling this function, or this function is not, this occlusion plane is not getting, like it's not at the right point in the display list. If I'm assuming that this is going in before you're drawing anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's a microcode issue. And you have confirmed that you're not using NOC, you're using the full version.
Yeah. I
Okay.
literally just dragged in the NOC version. Like I didn't even have to set up until just now. Yeah.
Yeah, so
basically calling
I
this
don't know
one-
your code base had,
where would this go usually? Because the way I set it right now, I set up the viewport, then I set the look at, the view projection matrix, and then the occlusion plane.
it doesn't matter what order of those things. It's just, each of those is just putting a different thing in memory. And so you could do those in whatever order you want.
Okay, maybe I should show you the game memory and show you the display list that we're building.
And you're sure that with the pointer, let's see if this is supposed to be a pointer or a not pointer. Let's see. Yeah, it's just putting. Oh, I know I sometimes make this mistake of are we putting in the address of the thing as the data rather than
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I did. I might have done that. Shit. That might literally be it. Okay, let me test.
With lights, that is a really easy mistake to make, but with other things it should be fine. It should be the same thing as if you had just put in a matrix, right? Like a matrix pointer.
Yeah,
it's
so
not that.
no,
you just changed it on screen. Sorry about the delay.
yeah, but unfortunately, it's still nothing occluding. I'm still gonna trust this on N64. I don't know if I trust Nemule or Parallel here. I just double check to make sure we're not insane.
You said Twitch is less behind. Should I switch to Twitch?
Yeah, you'd be way better off on Twitch
Okay.
for this. Yeah, okay, no, it still doesn't occlude. Unless I input the occlusion plane wrong.
Yeah, so it's possible that the contents the constants I gave you are not right. Let me double check those. Yeah, that might be wrong because I might have. Yeah, let me double check those in a second.
That'd be such a stupid issue if the whole issue the whole time was just me putting in the pointer instead of the data.
Well, I mean that was an issue there, but it wasn't the.
Okay, it's still not occluding.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I switched to Twitch. Hopefully, it will be a little less.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now I hear myself. I'm going to turn this off. Yeah, so now it's only 3 seconds behind.
Yep, that sounds about right.
All right, so I think I may have given you the wrong coefficients. Let me think about how these are. Is less than, yeah, that's not going to be less than. Can you change the 4 values that are 8,000 to 7 FFF?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that hopefully that will occlude everything.
Yeah, the rendering bug is a parallel issue. Don't worry about that.
Still didn't occlude anything, or the rendering bug is not
still
related?
Nothing.
Have I messed this up in my some recent micro. I don't think it should be because this is, let's see, MV light plus 18. This is at, yeah, this is 10, 8. Yeah, that should be right. There's no, you don't have an emulator that lets you view RSP memory by any chance, do you?
I think Nemu does. There's an RSP debugger here.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need to go through the code for the RSP, but just if you can see memory, that would be great.
I'm not sure if this is showing RSP memory.
It says decache there. I can
Wow.
tell you. I don't know.
No, this is
Technically,
normal
you
memory.
can see. Technically, you can see the RSP memory in the from the CPU. It's 4,000 something. I can find you the address. 1 second. I don't know if the emulator is going to emulate that though.
Nemu is pretty solid, I find. It might. We're not investigating whether the RSP should burden this. We've already decided the CPU should. We're investigating why this isn't working right now, basically.
Okay. Yeah, DMEM is 04000000 is the physical address. I think you have one too many zeros. It's a, that one. Yeah. So that is, if you can get the emulator to show that, that's from the CPU perspective. Like this is if you do an uncached load from there, that will give you the RSP memory.
This A4.
Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Does that look right? Yeah, that looks right. That looks like the beginning. Can you move it off of the chat, or can you move it from back from under the chat? Okay, yeah, because the beginning of that looks like a render matrix, right? You have the FFF and the 7FF, and then we have a bunch of empty. Yeah, that looks like a render matrix. And then, okay, so this is where I'm looking. I'm looking for. Let me pull up the linker here. Build BRZ sim. Occlusion plane. So 238 can go to 238 off of that. 238. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look like occlusion plane data at all. That looks like.
Oh. There we go.
Yeah, so that is 8008. Right. So that is the version before you changed all of the 8000s to 7FFFs. That's the one that has a 7FF at the end, but not the 8000. So can you do the same thing except recompile the game with the 7FFFs in all the places?
There we go.
Okay, and it's still not working.
Yeah.
Then when you say the graphical glitches, so the graphical glitches, it shouldn't be drawing anything. And if you're not refilling the frame buffer, I'm a little suspicious of that. But yeah, okay, so the occlusion plane is getting into the microcode correctly. So your like SP set occlusion plane is working.
Yeah.
And then as far as like, why is it not actually occluding anything? I think that should be occluding things, but maybe I've messed something up on my end. I haven't actually tested this very recently.
No.
I will go back and retest. I haven't changed the code that would be relevant to it in a long time. So shouldn't be broken, but I'll go back and retest on my side when I get a chance. Yeah, I guess my only other thought is like, you're absolutely sure you're not using the NOC version now. You're absolutely sure you're using the version that has occlusion planes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at this,
Okay.
the sizes of these two files are different.
Right, but you have both of the files there. How do you know
I
which?
literally just dragged the other file in. The knock file isn't even referenced by the code.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
No, that's fair.
Uh, yeah, I'll go retest on my end and see if I can figure out what's going on my end.
And you saw the timing of my occlusion plane, that looked fine too?
The timing?
Like where during the frame generation it is?
Yeah, it's just like you send it before anything that you want it to include.
Right.
So yeah, no, if you want it to include everything, then you would do with your viewport and your like
Right, I just
all
want to
that
make
stuff.
sure that I didn't put it in a stupid place, because if that ends up being the issue, that would be frustrating. But yeah, it's a DC comment here right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's going to the right data as well. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Um, answering the questions in the chat. Oh, I don't know if the people in the chat are talking about something else or if they're talking about the occlusion plane. Oh no, I think they're talking about something else. Anyway, yeah. So this is that's all I can do at the moment. I'll have to test this on my end because it's looking like maybe I broke something. I wanted to chat about a couple other related things about future microcode stuff. So the one is these triangle snakes. So you remember I put a lot of effort into that, got the performance better, and then the thing is, when I just recently, oh yeah, you can go back to your whatever. When I recently made this last round of changes to make the RSP performance better, it's not that it made the triangle snakes worse. It even like the triangle snakes after the change were faster than triangle snakes before the change. The problem is that without triangle snakes after the change was so much faster that it's now the triangle snakes are like way slower comparatively.
Oh.
So
It's
they're,
just
I
no
mean,
longer
it's still going to,
necessary to have them, or what?
well, so they're still going to get you the RDP time or the memory time savings that we were, that they were created for, right? It's 1 byte per triangle in the, in the good case, compared to if, with the 2 triangles commands, it was 4 bytes per triangle in best case, so of memory traffic. So it's if that 70 microseconds you really want that, and you don't care what the what the penalty is, then still do that. But it is taking even more code now. Everything barely fits in microcode, and the penalty on the RSP time will be like relatively higher. Not that it is, well, it's higher comparatively to doing everything with with SP2 triangles. So how I don't really like giving up clever features that I had put in, but how would you feel about an SP3 triangles command and we ditch the snake? So SP3 triangles would still be like one display list command, 1 triangle is on its own, and then 1 triangle is like 2 of the triangle, like it's 4 vertices, 1 edge is shared between the 2 triangles, and then so it's basically 1 quad plus 1 triangle.
That still sounds like a big improvement, right? We'd save like
I mean, yeah, it's an
50% of
improvement, right?
triangle memory traffic.
It would be saving one. Yeah, you would get 3 triangles in the place of 2. So you would to draw 6 triangles, it would be 2 commands instead of 3 commands. So it would be
Okay.
1/3 of the memory traffic saved.
There's
But this is like we're talking about.
There's one unknown here for me to really be able to evaluate this. We have the triangle snake comments in the microcode. How often do we need to load those? Is it just whenever the microcode swaps in, or is there like some overlay switching going on too?
To load the code to process the triangle snake?
Yeah.
They are not in an overlay, because if they were in an overlay, then you might have to swap that overlay every time you were gonna run them. So
Okay.
that would be bad. So no, it's just in the main microcode code. So yeah, don't. I don't. You're suggesting like, what if we keep both but put it in an overlay or something?
No, I was worried, like, what if the triangle snake's code is so big that the minuscule amount of data it saves is already outweighed by the extra code it needs?
No, it's not that big. It's
Okay.
like, I don't know, what, for 30, 40 instructions, which
Okay,
is
it's
pretty
minuscule.
big in the scheme of, microcode stuff. But we're talking about like the 3 tries command would be like another like 7 instructions. It just
Oh, wow.
like when we're talking about when we're talking about these commands, it's not like it's not the same kind of optimization that you're doing. It's like, I need to have freedom of something. Like, I need to have some sort of some sort of wiggle room somewhere in order to consider other possible improvements.
Yeah, that
Like,
makes sense.
so if the instruction memory is nearly full, which it is now, then like I can't think about, oh well, what if I did some other change? But anyway, that's one thought, is just like, okay, if you switch everything to 3 tries instead of 2 tries, you get 1/3, and we can figure it out. How many tries are you talking about normally? This is like 4,000 tries on screen, like on average, or in your. I guess you only care about the like most laggy view in each scene, right? So
Right,
like,
but it doesn't
how
really
many
depend.
tries?
It doesn't really depend on screen, right? It depends on like what we process, and I think that's usually like 8 to 9,000 even.
8 to 9,000 triangles. Okay, so we're talking about 8 or 9,000 triangles, and
So it's like 6
we
kilobytes,
do.
24 kilobytes, right? Actually, that sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Never mind. It's like
So
12,
right
right?
now, 8,000 triangles with 4 bytes per triangle is 32 kilobytes worth of triangle data.
Yeah.
If we do it all with 3 tries commands, it would be 8,000 times 2.6, right? Because
Right.
it's about 3.
Yeah, so
So
save
that's
like 10,
20,800 bytes. And so the savings is like 12 or 11 kilobytes, I guess.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then 11 kilobytes of savings is like 5,000 cycles,
5,000
right? Because you do
cycles.
like 2.2 bytes per cycle on DMAs. Don't you have some number that like each DMA takes about 2.2 bytes per cycle or something?
I would just do this computation. It's like 3000 divided by 100. That's because I know filling detection memory once cost 30 microseconds. So this would be like 90 microseconds, which is pretty neat.
No, because we calculated that moving everything to snakes would save 70 microseconds. And so this is
Yeah.
much less of a improvement.
We must have calculated with less triangles back then.
Well, yeah, we were calculating with 4,000 triangles, not 8,000
That's
triangles.
probably why it was only 70.
Okay, so you were saying, okay, well then if 8,000 triangles, then we're talking about 140 microseconds of RSP time saves with going to snakes. So
Yeah,
then
right.
I'm guessing you really want that.
Well, I mean,
And
the 50 microseconds, I'm sure you can, in the future, think of other microcode features that save more than the 60 microseconds that we lose out on here, right?
So, but that's the thing, is that as long as the instruction memory is so full, we can't think of new features that will
Exactly.
save. Right. So you gotta sort of make these you can't keep all of those possibilities in mind at a time because you can't
Right.
really think about anyway. So let me mention one thing I was thinking about as a possible, like, okay, well then what would we use that space for? AgLab was trying to do a thing where it would sort of cache a material, and it would only run the material on the RDP once it saw that one of the triangles with that material was going to be drawn.
Okay.
So there were some problems with that implementation. It didn't work with multi-texture. It had some like correctness issues. But he was just trying to do this as like the microcode would just always do this unconditionally for any material. What if we did a different thing where you had a display list command which said, here is a pointer to all of the RDP commands for a material. So you split up materials into RSP commands and RDP commands. You have the RSP commands in line in the material. And then when you are doing the, like where you would have the RDP commands, like texture load and whatever, you instead have a display list command that says, here is a pointer to all the RDP commands. Then that doesn't get executed until you're in a triangle draw and you see that there is a triangle that is not called. Then it aborts that triangle, it runs the display list that it had in that pointer, and then it comes back and it does the triangle again.
Yeah, I think that would have huge savings potential. I mean, we can just think about this level here right now, right? I'm standing here, and for example, the rope here, the texture does get loaded, but nothing of it gets drawn. So that would already
There's
be
another
like...
rope out in front of you, though. But yes,
right.
anything that was behind, anything that was actually happens to be off screen at the moment would be.
I think about
not
what else maybe
loaded.
wouldn't be. Maybe that
The
windmill.
other,
Definitely the carrot thing here. That I think there's going to be a lot. Like in this level alone, I think that would already be like 200 microseconds, 250 or so.
so before you get too excited about the benefit here, the cost is it will make material bleeding much harder or impossible. Because it will not know at compile time what the state of the RDP is.
Right.
But if the big RDP time cost is the texture loads, then this is gonna, never do a texture load that is not needed. Then yes, you will sometimes have to send, other mode commands that are, you'll end up writing the same other mode command to the RDP over and over, but you save the texture loads. So yeah, just wanted to start you thinking about this.
Yeah, that's a tough call to make. It is a... My concern right now is like a dev time concern almost, because it means I have to re-export everything.
Well, we were talking about the next, if I don't do
Right.
anything like this, the next thing is I'm going to work on the mesh compiler, and mesh compiler is also you re-export everything.
Right, and then there was also the armature idea you had, which is also re-export everything.
Well, that's part of the mesh compilers, like that's the output
Oh, okay.
representation for that.
Yeah, so that does sound like an implementation worth exploring. I'm not sure how much work on your side would this be.
The actual microcode part of that would be pretty trivial. The issue would be like making the tools to actually make every mesh use that.
Right. Didn't think about
Like,
that.
FS64 changes.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge from me whether that would be better, but I think it is better. Like, just guessing, I would say definitely better. I'd say I'm like 95% confident that it would be a big saving.
Yeah, I suspect it would be. I guess there's still some. I gotta think a little bit about the if there, what kinds of problems you could get yourself into with this having the RDP in an unknown state after this, because excuse me, you don't know what has drawn or what hasn't drawn.
Right.
With Mario 64 engine, there's this concept of revert display lists. So this isn't gonna like run a revert display list on the RDP. It's just gonna leave the RDP in that state at the end, and so that might be a problem there too. But that was going to already be a little bit different with the mesh compiler, so yeah, I don't really know. But yeah, I just wanted to put that on your radar as like, okay, well, there are other things that we could do that might be RDP time savings. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, I don't want to work on this microcode forever. I do want to eventually move on to this mesh compiler, because that helps. The mesh compiler will help everyone on any microcode, and you know, not just you, though. Obviously, this is like the most. Your project is the most mature, and you know, the one that's going to benefit the most from it. But
I'm sure other people are going to use X3 too.
yeah, other people are already using it.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, not as intensely as you are. So.
Well,
Anyway,
eventually this
good to
project...
chat. Sorry.
You go ahead.
No, you go first. I was going to say.
I was just going to say, other people are probably going to build off this project too, so they're also all going to be on X3. So any improvements we make, everyone's going to have forever.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to. I have some ideas about something I might make in the future using some parts of your engine and some other stuff. So, but I won't spoil that for the moment. Anyway, I should get going, but good to chat.
All right. Take care. And if you find anything about occlusion planes, let me know.
Yeah, I'll update you. I'm not sure. I'm have a lot of other stuff busy in my life at the moment, but I'll let you know when I get to retest that.
All right.
All right. Bye.
See ya. All right. Back to this. Quick intermission about occlusion planes. I'm sure everyone in chat was able to follow and had a good time. Yes, we're probably doing that, but I don't want to do that while I am using it as my performance benchmark level. Right click select, I'm using the Blender default. See ya, Zelda. So, me and Sarah, we talked about the X3 occlusion plane just now, and then some other X3 features that might come soon. Those other features would be another couple hundred microseconds, and like very exciting things, I find. So if that all comes to be, I think 60 FPS in the start level is back. Maybe occlusion plane alone is already enough for that, but I'm not 100% confident in that. I gotta make the UVs match here, otherwise this looks awful. If only it wasn't lagging so much. Why is it so laggy? That's just what Blender is like. Ah! Do it faster, I'm gonna lose it. Any day now. It suddenly stopped lagging. Okay. Better use this opportunity. Oh yeah, that looks so much nicer. What do you think? This is what I wanted. Hello Liliana Uvu. calling IR the free product. I guess I kinda am. Is it bad though to get irritated at something that is free, even if it is annoying? Isn't that normal? I don't know what kind of artwork is being used for this version, but I remember being weird compared to the area case, but something like that. That message does not compute. I read the words, but they have no meaning to me. It's around 30,000 now. Oh, this is so cozy. I'm kinda loving this section now. I hated it first, now I kinda love it. Okay, we wanted bamboos before we get distracted with the whole occlusion plane thing. But there's one thing that bothers me. That's this vertex here. Oh, that's instantly so much better. I think 2.7 to make something trippy and hypnotical has happened before. That's where Livid Surreal Dreams comes from, the level Last Impact. Are bamboo mangroves real? Or did I just make that up? Bamboo cannot grow in standing water despite being reeds. Got it. That's all I needed to know. The question then is, where do we put the bamboo? Maybe over here? Actually, it would be cool if you could climb the bamboo, right? What if you just had a little bamboo garden over here? Case, those are plants. Oh my god. What the fuck are you talking about? What? Bamboos are plants? Do we make 3D bamboo or no? If we make them 3D, we can make them realistically climbable. If we don't make them 3D, we can make them maybe a bit more plentiful. Let's make one plant, see how it goes. I wish I still knew how you can set the dot in Blender, but they changed it and now I no longer know. It's been an ongoing issue. Yeah, kinda toilet duck. Which is more good. The 3D cursor, I don't know how to set it anymore. I'm sure it still works, I just don't know how. How do you know you're under the polygon budget for the scene? You guess. That's what I do. These are some nice bamboo textures. Bamboo doesn't spin like that, does it? Well, bamboo doesn't even have the dark spots like that, so why would it spin? This is what bamboo would look like. Shift S? How does that make sense? To move the cursor somewhere, it has to be with a click. Of course, snapping the cursor still works, it's just the click setting doesn't work anymore. Kinda like this bamboo. Just believe everything will be fine. The golden rule is just natural resource nearby. I think they're cultivating it. Bamboos are the primitive type of technology the Yoshis would love to use. How many are in this one texture? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Firebag's gonna have fun with this texture. This seems like a very reusable one. Press N and then view that you can change the 3D cursor's coordinates. Well, that's not what I want. I want to click. We broke the UVs a bit at the seam. Oh shit. You are absolutely right. Fuck. What have I done? There we go. I fixed it. We're saved. And it is shift plus right click. That is the fix. Thank you. Now we just need to hope I don't forget it again. Alright, the Yoshi home is starting to get a little homier. I'm honestly kind of happy now with how homely it feels. And I think we can start programming this area here. Now, when we start programming this area here, we need to think of the boss fight. The idea here is the Vikamic boss fight. She doesn't like how much progress you've been making and tries to stop you somehow. That was the idea. I'm not sure when this fight would happen. Let me look that up again. Beating her under the evil enchanted message blocks. Okay, so this would happen very late into the game. This would happen after the second Bowser sometime. Let me just leave a note here. Happens after Bowser 2 and after you've gotten some stars in C12 or C10. Seconds are running out of space on the couch fighting content or technically in the investigator game. We are restricting ourselves to 64 megabytes, but that's technically not the limit. But we are restricting ourselves to that anyway. Yeah, for the actual Kamek boss fight we still need to think about it, what exactly it is going to be. What else do we need in part 5? Baskets with fruits, Yoshi houses. We need Yoshis. We gotta add a ton of Yoshis, but first we need Yoshi houses, which Zena was working on. Sandcastle bringer spawns a blue coin if you don't fall down. Okay, this is this thing here. Maybe bonus to grabbing a toy, probably not. We need to do the clouds. Boss fight. We need to do the Yoshi dojo. We need to also do the Dino Land entrance. Okay, I would say next time we work on this, we're going to start from top to bottom. The Yoshis and the Yoshi houses, well, the Yoshis are blocked by the Yoshi houses, but we can start with the Sandcastle and then everything else here. For now, I think I am done. So, I will see you guys in the next stream. Bye bye.